Veena, it was so incredible to hear you speak. I've never met you. It's terrible. But thank you for everything you said about cybersecurity. How are you feeling post speech?
I feel good, to be honest. I haven't done an event, I think, with such a young demographic in a long while. So for me, it feels good just to be able to share my story, hopefully inspire, motivate some individuals. I know cybersecurity isn't like a topic that's so frequently spoken about unless you go to a specific IT event. So I kind of am grateful to have the opportunity to be able to share what the industry has to offer and hopefully, guide some people on a path to cyber.
So you are clearly in a minority. This is global ethnic majority in STEM. What are your biggest tips about not being the conventional in your industry?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things that I have to do, it's a mindset thing, is not be afraid. I think when I first stepped into the world of engineering and I saw how there weren't many people who looked familiar to myself, there wasn't a lot of people who in a role model type way I could look up to. Even in the company where I work now, there aren't many seniors who are women, let alone a person of colour. So I see where the boundaries lie, and I think it's something that can't be changed quickly. It's a progressive change, but if we shy away from it, we're not going to help the cause. So I think the more we stick to what we love, just because you have a passion about something, you have to explore it. Don't shy away because you're afraid that you don't fit the norm. You're afraid that you don't fit into what this industry is now. One day it will look a lot better, and one day we will ultimately fit in, and we'll see things a lot more diverse across the region.
Now, you spoke so eloquently and it was so inspiring listening to your whole journey. But what have you taken away from other speakers? Reflect.
Reflect. Wow. I think for me, I'm always open to hearing other engineer stories. I find it fascinating, especially when they've come from different disciplines, different areas. My father studied manufacturing engineering. I hear about that all the time at home, but I never hear about, the greatness of biomedical engineering or motorsport and whatnot. And I think it's interesting to hear how relatable and how similar all of our struggles and stories are, despite the fact we're in different aspects of engineering, and how there's multiple things mentioned throughout today's event where the key themes and the running topics were literally the same. Harness every opportunity you have, reach out to the peers around you. It doesn't matter what aspect of engineering you're in, everyone is going through the same struggle. And I think I found something like that just such a massive inspiration and takeaway. Sometimes you can come to these events and you talk alone, maybe on just as a sole guest speaker, but when you're in a room with 6 or 7, 8 individuals who are talking from their own experience and you realise things are pretty much the same, I think it's a really good takeaway to know you're not in this struggle alone.
You do so much outreach, and thank you for that, has to be said. What's different about Reflect 2023?
So this is my first Reflect event that I've gone to. Hopefully moving forwards, I'll be back for the others. I think it's really opened my eyes because, like I kind of iterated, this is the first event I've gone to where the demographic is very different from anyone else I present. We're underrepresented across the industry, and I've only ever really spoken about being a female engineer, not a person of colour in engineering, and the struggles that are associated with that, growing up in different areas and realising there's a whole different diverse world out there. I think that's one of the things that Reflex really taught me, is that the whole diversity and inclusion aspect, we really need to harness on that as well to try to motivate people who are similar to us to keep pushing.
I mean, what I got from your talk is, yes, we are different, but embrace that and use it and make the most of it.
100%. No, I totally agree with what you were saying. Like I said, my dad came from engineering, and I'm sure it was very different when he was back in the industry 30, 40 years ago, and he's had to work his way to get to where he is now. And even then, he's still at a minority, being, a person of colour. And I've almost leveraged my dad's motivation to keep pushing myself, because that's all we can do at the end of the day. Like I said, it's all in the hope that eventually we can create more of a universal look across the industry, see more diversity, see more people of colour in senior and management positions, see more females walking through the door. I do see it now, but it's a very slow change, but hopefully events like this will keep pushing it.
Also, another thing that you said, which I absolutely loved, was an answer to someone's question about how you can be more employable. And I love the fact that you really enjoy being in demand. Like you're like, I'm taking all the opportunities. Would you say to others, go for it? Like, is that the advice you give?
Honestly, I think cybersecurity, like I said, it's not spoken about a lot across the STEM kind of industry, but it's such an upcoming kind of topic and a hot topic that all companies care about. There's a lot of opportunities out there with apprenticeship schemes, grad schemes, courses, programs, IT and cyber related that will take you on. And like I said, they'll give you the training. So, it's never about knowing everything first. You do all the on the job training and learning, which is effectively what pretty much every job will. I've never gone into a job knowing everything. You learn on the job, right? But I think the cyber industry is so huge. Everything from like legal to governance to compliance to the networking, the physical security aspects. There's so much to it. The penetration testing, if you want to be more hands-on. There's so many elements that I think cyber genuinely has something to offer for everyone.
Well, the definition of humility is the ability to keep learning. I really get that from you. Thank you so much for all your humility. Great to meet you.
And yourself. Thank you so much for the opportunity and everything. It's been great to meet you as well. You've been a great, fantastic host.